Part 72. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihamigwa. Chapter 711. The Wolf King immediately stood up and stared at Daudu. Daudu also refused to give in and confronted the Wolf King tit for tat. Daudu, what are you doing? The Wolf King is here as a guest, Li Zifeng glared. Woof woof, Daudu complained. It was obviously the wolf cub who glared at Master Do first. Li Zifeng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You have led the little wolf to evil. The Wolf King must be angry. Daudu shook his head wildly, but Bendu didn't do it. This stupid wolf learned it all by himself. Ouch! The Wolf King roared, dead dog, who can I call stupid? Daudu stared with provocative eyes. He was talking about your son, stupid wolf. The Wolf King was angry, and like a bolt of lightning, he immediately rushed towards Daudu. Where can Daudu suffer? At that moment, it suddenly disappeared in place. After all, Li Chen fed him with vitality water every day. To put it bluntly, Daudu is the king of dogs. The Wolf King really couldn't take any advantage against it. The rest of the wolves in the pack shook their heads. The Wolf King is obsessed with saving face. Why are you arguing with a dog? Disgraceful. Murong Shui saw Daudu finally hiding next to her, and she couldn't laugh or cry. She poked Daudu's head with her finger. The visitor is a guest. How could you treat a guest like this? Ouch! Daudu rubbed against Murong Shui's leg in a grieved manner. Li Chen directly threw Daudu away. Pervert, you think I don't know what you want to do? Murong Shui. Daudu was thrown away by Li Chen. Daudu's forelegs kicked around in the air, and nothing happened when he finally landed on the ground. This is a perverted dog, don't let it take advantage of you. Li Chen pulled up Murong Shui's skirt. Murong Shui looked at this man speechlessly. Are you even jealous of a dog? It doesn't take advantage, so do you want to take advantage? Murong Shui's eyes fell on the hand on her white thigh. How can this be called taking advantage? Li Chen said frankly, you are my wife, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. I am being honest. Murong Shui spat at this guy. He was really dishonest, even in front of the child. What are you doing? Murong Shui saw Li Biwu, who had not yet combed her hair, running over and touching her thigh with her fleshy little hands. I'm learning from Dad, Li Biwu said with a smile. Murong Shui immediately twisted the little girl up and said, you didn't wash your face or rinse your mouth. You just touched the wild boar and you touched me again. Papa, help! Li Biwu struggled with his legs in the air, while Li Chen just looked on with a smile. He won't save this little girl. Li Chen, something big happened. Li Kongfeng, riding a small electric donkey with his straw hat blowing to the back of his head, shouted hurriedly. What's wrong? Li Chen stood up. The village is in chaos, Li Kongfeng said hurriedly. In the village, many animals have come to the village. Now there is a big brown bear at the village committee, fighting with two people. There are also many snakes, wasps, and pheasants. The snakes blocked Lin A Along and Yang Jiankan. There are many more animals in the village, including many monkeys that beat people with pine cones, and pheasants. It bullies our chickens. Li Chen. Li Chen looked at Li Kongfeng's shameless look and was speechless. What's going on? Could it be that after the Wild Boar King, Tiger King, and Wolf King left, all the animals in the mountains came out to have fun? After hearing Li Kongfeng's words, the Tiger King, Wild Boar King and Wolf King all came over and looked at Li Chen, meaning to take a look. Then go take a look, Li Chen said. Lao He immediately put Li Nanfei down. Li Nanfei's legs were so weak that Xiao He arched his legs. Thank you, Xiaoxioi. Dad, what are you going for? Li Nanfei led Xiao He and chased behind him on his short legs. Li Donglong screamed and sat on the Tiger King, holding a little tiger in one hand. The Wolf King led the pack of wolves and walked beside Li Zifeng. The little wolf was so happy that he kept licking Li Zifeng's fingers. Li Chen knew that there were always a lot of animals in the mountains, but they almost never came down from the mountains. But why is it so strange today? Once these animals really hurt people, Li Chen's plan would be in vain. The natural coexistence of humans and animals has become a huge joke. Li Chen pondered slightly, something wasn't right. Ho ho! The Tiger King roared in a low voice, and Li Chen turned to look at it. The time has come? What does the Tiger King mean? The Tiger King shook his head slightly and did not explain. Li Donglong, who was sitting on its back, was as confused as Li Chen. Sure enough, we can see that there are many strange animals in the village. A large number of rabbits, foxes, turtle doves, various birds, hedgehogs, and so on. In the past, these animals were almost impossible to see. But now, they have all appeared, and they don't seem to be very afraid of people. There's something weird about this. Li Chen's consciousness expanded, and there was no trouble among the villagers and workers in the village. The main reason is that yesterday's broadcast was effective, so there were no casualties. The immortal level beast control technique was cast instantly, and these strange animals established a connection with Li Chen. Even the monkeys are just being naughty and won't really hurt anyone. I'll go, is it true or not? Am I not dazzled? Who is this Li Chen? This guy is not only the best at raising dogs, but can he also tame tigers, wild boars, and wolves? Many people are filming Douyin. At first, the Douyin released by Lu Kunshan's group was suspected of being fake. But when more and more people saw it, everyone had to admit the fact that these animals were real. Before, Li Chen's dog fighting incident caused a huge sensation, but many people didn't believe in the existence of tiger kings and wild boar kings. Until today, when they filmed and uploaded these pictures, everyone had to believe it. I think everyone has no objection to the current unique beast tamer king. Just now, you saw the two masters fighting with the Kung Fu brown bear, right? This is so awesome that even cartoons dare not shoot it like this. It's really awesome, so cool. Wait, is that Li Donglong? My god, the Tiger Knight. Countless live broadcast rooms were boiling. Originally, this group of people who casually filmed Douyin works had few fans at all. As for the others, it is even more impossible. But as they live broadcasted the scene, it immediately caused a sensation on the entire network. As villages began to urbanize, more and more animals began to disappear. Animals that could be seen before are a luxury for today's children. It is almost impossible for a large number of animals to be dispatched like now. When Li Chen came with the Tiger King, Wild Boar King, and Wolf King, it naturally attracted a lot of attention. Even many people in the village saw this situation for the first time, and it would be a lie to say that they were not surprised. Roar. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 712. The Tiger King roars, and the tiger's sound vibrates. The viewers in the Douyin live broadcast room were stunned by the sudden roar. Holy shit, is this a real tiger? Damn it, the sound in the special effects is simply too uninspiring. Tiger King cowhide. Li Donglong's little face turned pale with fright. Countless people laughed. Yes, it was the first time for Li Donglong to hear the roar of a real tiger. Moreover, he is still sitting on this tiger. That kind of majesty, that kind of terror, absolutely penetrates the heart. The sound of the tiger came, and whether it was Zhong Zhengtang, Qiu Lijhan, or the big brown bear and the snakes, they all looked over in unison. When the big brown bear saw the Tiger King roaring at him, he was also quite ferocious. He stood up and glared at the Tiger King. When Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan saw this, they immediately clasped their fists at Li Chen and said, "May I ask who you are, Master Li Xian?" "It's me." Li Chen smiled, he already knew who these two people were. "What are you?" Zhong Zhengtang said, "When I first came to the village, I saw this evil beast trying to hurt people, so I had to stop it. After hearing the explanation, many villagers understood. The big brown bear was extremely irritable and apparently heard Zhong Zhengtang call it a beast. The big brown bear is quite violent, and it will start fighting again when it lifts its paw. Boom! The herd of wild boars led by the wild boar king came slowly, their yellow tusks were terrifying, and they were pointed at it. This made the big brown bear very afraid, so he could only put down his paw. Li Chen glanced here, then his eyes fell on Lin Along and Yang Jiankan, and he couldn't help but frown slightly. Why do so many snakes focus on them instead of attacking others? Could it be that these guys caused trouble again? Li Chen said to Zhong Zhengtang, "Thank you for taking the initiative. Let me solve the current matter first." Roar! Just when Li Chen passed by the big brown bear, he never expected that the big brown bear, which had already calmed down, would suddenly become violent. Damn it, you don't have martial ethics. This big brown bear, how dare you sneak up on me, Brother Chen, are you looking for death? Are you afraid that this guy has lost his mind and gone crazy? Fans who are familiar with Li Chen are not panicked at all. They believed that since Li Chen could make friends with the Tiger King and the Wild Boar King, he would also be able to subdue the big brown bear. Dad, Li Nanfei, Li Donglong, and Li Zifeng all changed their expressions. The villagers in Jia village and thousands of co-workers suddenly felt nervous. If such a big guy attacks people sneakily, they will die in minutes. Huh, Li Chen snorted coldly in his nose, and then slapped him. In the eyes of everyone, Li Chen seemed to have predicted the action of this big brown bear. Bang! Before the big brown bear's paw fell, it was slapped away by Li Chen. Bang! The brown bear's huge body hit a piece of building material hard, and the surrounding dust could be rolled up to a height of 3 meters. Roar! The big brown bear jumped up high, with a ferocious look on its face, as if it was very angry. Rushing over on all fours, like a giant tank. Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan, who were standing aside, opened their mouths in surprise. You know, it was a bit difficult for the two of them to deal with this big guy. Li Chen actually swatted away this big brown bear weighing several hundred kilograms with one hand. It was really scary. Li Chen turned to look at the charging big brown bear, and couldn't help but laugh, it's quite stubborn. After saying that, the beast control technique was released instantly. A huge pressure came down on the big brown bear. The big brown bear, charging forward at an alarming speed, felt tremendous pressure. It slowed down and finally stopped. With a roar, the entire huge body fell to the ground. The big brown bear couldn't move. This scene shocked everyone. You beast, I didn't bother you, but you attacked me first. Li Chen came over and slapped the brown bear on the head. Under the influence of animal control skills, any animal can be controlled. What's more, it's an immortal level beast control technique. No matter how ferocious the animal is, it will be crushed in Li Chen's hands. Be obedient and be obedient. If you dare to act recklessly again, I will chop off your bare paws and eat them. Feeling the terror of the man in front of him, the big brown bear immediately looked at Li Chen with tears in his eyes and nodded obediently. It looks very big, but in fact it is very young and is still in a very skinny stage. When Li Chen easily suppressed him with powerful force, it was full of admiration for this man. Li Chen withdrew his pressure, and the big brown bear still looked at Li Chen's back through the stars. I go. Conquer it? Conquer it? Isn't this possible? In the live broadcast room, the audience was not calm. Is Li Chen too strong, or is Bulk Bear too weak? Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan didn't come to their senses for a long time. They fought with the big brown bear for a long time, and now Li Chen tamed it with a slap. Doesn't this mean we are little hotties? The masters of the two late-stage masters almost became depressed on the spot. Li Chen didn't think too much and walked towards Lin Along and Yang Jiankan, who were surrounded by snakes. Many experts in the car were also looking at Li Chen. You two, you really can't live in peace for a day. Lin Along and Yang Jianquan were almost crying. After provoking so many snakes, I don't believe you if you say that you haven't done anything unscrupulous. Li Chen looked at the two of them and said, so, you only have one chance. If you do it, I will save you. If you don't, I will save you, you just feed the snakes. Seeing that Li Chen didn't look like he was telling lies, Lin Along and Yang Jianquan looked at each other and knew in their hearts that they couldn't hide it anymore. Lin Hongxia on the side stared. It was clear that they were almost at the end of the road just now, but these two people were stubborn and refused to let go. However, as soon as Li Chen came, these two people let go. Could it be that the man in front of me is scarier than these snakes? We went up the mountain once when you didn't come back, Lin Along immediately began to tell. He knew that his life was in Li Chen's hands. We accidentally entered a strange place, where there is a large palace and temple. Li Chen concentrated slightly, he actually didn't know there was such a thing in the mountain. We accidentally broke one of the jars. Lin Along was full of fear. I didn't expect that there was a snake head in that jar. Yang Jianquan saw Lin Along's stuttering words, so he said, after the snake head fell out, its eyes moved a little, and finally settled on our bodies, and then the snake head quickly withered. Then, we were targeted by snakes. We don't know the specific reason, but it must be related to the smuggler. Without them continuing to talk, Li Chen was sure that these snakes were definitely not looking for trouble, but were seeking revenge. Mainly because these two people are so mean. Anymore. Also, when we evacuated, we saw a lot of snake eggs, so. Lin Along said with great regret. How many snake eggs are there? Li Chen's voice was low. Snakes are highly vengeful animals. If you don't kill it on the spot, it will keep chasing and killing you. Thousands, no, maybe hundreds, Lin Along said uncertainly. Hearing this, Li Chen wanted to slap them to death. They were simply worse than animals. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 713. Lin Hongxia, who was standing by, blushed when she heard this and said angrily, you deserve to die. All things have spirits, and no one deserves to die. This group of snakes didn't provoke them, but they even destroyed their nest. This group of snakes tore the two of them into pieces, and no one said they were wronged. There were snakes everywhere. Ziahua. Hiss. A red venomous snake swam over and gradually settled in Li Chen's house. This venomous snake is also growing stronger and stronger, and its body alone is as thick as an adult's arm. And it's still growing. Li Chen said to Ziahua, explain to them, I will help them migrate. If they want, they can continue to take root, and even make their offspring stronger. The red venomous snake Ziahua immediately began to spit snake seeds at countless venomous snake kings. At this moment, whether it was Lin Hongxia, Lin Along, or Yang Jianquan, they were all sweating coldly. What kind of monster is this young man in front of him? Even keeping poisonous snakes, are you really not afraid of backlash? Li Chen knew that saving Lin Along and Yang Jianquan now was a bit like helping the evil. But now these two people are still shouldering the heavy responsibility of the construction site, and he can't really let the snakes kill people here. Once someone is killed, all his efforts will be in vain. Ziahua seemed a little angry, and her body began to swell, and there was even a tendency of conflict. The reason why Li Chen did not use the beast taming technique on this group of snakes was to give them some face. After all, Lin Along and Yang Jianquan did something wrong. If they agreed, Li Chen would use the beast taming technique again, which would be good for everyone. Li Chen could still hear the demands of the group of snakes, and finally looked at Lin Along and Yang Jiankan. They are willing to let you go, but there are conditions. Li Chen turned to the two and said, this is not what I mean, you can believe it or not. First, the Great Snake King is dead. Originally, the Great Snake King had a chance to survive, so you two owe the Snake Clan a life. You are not allowed to eat snake meat for the rest of your life, and you are not allowed to kill any snakes, otherwise they will always retaliate against you. Second, you need to build a snake temple for them and hatch their eggs. Third, on the 1st and 15th day of the lunar month in the future, you need to go to the snake temple to pray and pray for blessings. Lin Along was so scared that he trembled all over. Any condition was very scary. It's up to you whether you agree or not, Li Chen said. I can protect you for a few months, but I will never protect you for a lifetime. We agree, Yang Jiankan answered immediately. He is not Lin Along. He clearly realized that his life was hanging by a thread at this moment. If he didn't agree, he might not live to the next day. What's more, they were originally in the wrong. They almost wiped out other people's tribes. This is a life and death feud. Now that Li Chen is mediating, if they still don't know the severity of the situation, they deserve to die. Li Chen was relieved when he saw that they agreed. Xiahua continued to communicate with them, and the snakes turned their heads to look at Li Chen, as if they were curious. Li Chen began to use the beast control technique at this time. It was not forced to communicate with them, which would be beneficial to everyone. At this time, Li Chen could clearly know what they were thinking and could control them. You go back first, and I will help you solve it after I finish my work, Li Chen said to the snakes. Xiahua, take them back to the mountain. The red venomous snake Xiahua immediately nodded its head and left with many venomous snakes. This scene stunned everyone. It was also the first time they had seen such a magical thing. Lin Hongxia still couldn't believe that there were people in this world who could communicate with animals. Li Chen nodded to Lin Hongxia and others and said, everyone, go to my house first. The people in the car came to their senses and followed Li Chen back. Li Chen walked along the way, using all his animal taming skills, and it was very convenient for the group of animals to communicate. Now Li Chen had a headache. So many animals had gone down the mountain, which was really difficult to deal with. Moreover, according to what they said, more companions would come down the mountain in the future. If this place had been built, there would be no problem, but it was still far from being built. There were many people here, and construction was going on everywhere, which was actually quite dangerous. Li Chen asked Li Donglong to take them back first, and he took these hundreds of animals to the foot of the mountain. You all go back to the mountain first, and come down after I finish building here. As soon as Li Chen finished speaking, a monkey hit him with a pine cone. Sun Wukong, if you are naughty again, I will let you stay on the mountain alone. This was the name Li Chen gave to the most naughty monkey in the monkey group. Squeak. The monkey named Sun Wukong jumped unhappily, with his hands on his hips, and was angry at Li Chen. So, you all have to go back. You are not allowed to go down the mountain without my permission. Li Chen waved his hand and drove the animals back. But Sun Wukong did not leave. Instead, he jumped on top of Li Chen's head and wanted to follow Li Chen home. Li Chen really couldn't get rid of this naughty monkey, so he went home with a monkey on his head. Monkey, monkey. Li Bui's eyes lit up when he saw the monkey on top of Li Chen's head. The monkey, who had always been naughty, was not naughty after seeing Xiao Wu. This naughty monkey not only liked Xiao Wu, but also teased Xiao Wu and made her laugh. Li Chen was too lazy to care about these guys. Anyway, there was a lot of space around his house and a lot of shade. Li Donglong took the Tiger King and two little tigers to the bamboo forest in the east, where there was a large area of shade. Li Nanfei screamed and was forced by Lao He and the Wild Boar King and his wife to go to the vegetable garden to dig vegetables. Li Zifeng took the wolf pack into the house. Anyway, there were many rooms in the house. Living room. Zhong Zhengtang, Qiu Lijhan, Lin Hengxia and more than 30 other people who were also leaders in various fields sat down in the super-large living room on the second floor. Murong Shui put the tea leaves she picked in the prepared water cup, and finally handed them over after brewing. This group of people was still a little surprised. After all, it was still very shocking to see Murong Shui, who was famous all over the country, in person. Murong Shui was not as cold as in TV and movies, nor was she as unattainable as outsiders imagined. Even at this moment, she was shrinking in this small mountain village, and her face seemed to be full of a bright and happy smile. "Everyone, please have some tea. We apologize for the poor hospitality. Mrs. Li is too polite," Lin Hengxia and others said without hesitation. Regardless of whether Murong Shui and the Murong family really broke up or whether it was because of Li Chen, they had to give Murong Shui enough respect. In the huge reception room, more than 30 people sat down and it seemed a little crowded. Li Chen walked over and said, "Are you all introduced by Mojis Hung?" "Yes." After seeing Li Chen tame the big brown bear with a slap today, they had put away all their contempt. If they still think that Li Chen has no ability at this time, then they are really courting death. "I, Li Chen, am not interested in where you are from or what your family background is like," Li Chen said. "However, since you are here, I will reiterate it again regardless of whether Mojis Hung has reminded you before. Now I will observe your situation. To be honest, except for a few of you, your current realm is almost your upper limit. Although this is a bit hurtful, I still want to make it clear that if you consider asking me for help, you will have to bear a certain price." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 714. Everyone in the room looked very serious. When Li Chen said that their current cultivation was their limit, they were indeed very uncomfortable. How many people who can reach this point admit that they are useless? But that is the fact. I can help you raise your upper limit, but once it is raised, you will never be qualified to improve again in this life. Li Chen looked around and said, "Everyone, think clearly." Zhong Zhengtang, as the only two masters in the late stage of the master in this group, stood up and clasped his fists and said, "Thank you, Mr. Li, for reminding us. Since we are here, we must have made all preparations. Your preparation is your business, because I have helped people before, some of them have always remembered my kindness, and some are ungrateful." Li Chen sneered, "So, I can save you this time without charging anything, but your lives must be in my hands." As soon as these words came out, everyone's face changed. People's hearts are the most difficult to guess. The last time I went to help people with Nangong Hengchuo, I suffered a backlash. Li Chen is not an idiot. He will never allow such a thing to happen again. It's not that he is worried about threats to himself, but it's just a bit disgusting. Li Chen was also very calm and continued, "Since you are here, even if you really regret it, Li Chen will not say anything. After all, this is a deal. There are still places to live in the town near Miljia village. You can walk around here or discuss it. If you have thought it through, then find me." After saying that, Li Chen did not stay, but left the space to them. This time, Li Chen's purpose was quite clear. "Helping you to increase the upper limit, no problem, even for free, but your life must be in my hands. If you don't betray me, and you are not spies sent in by major families, then it's naturally okay. But once you want to turn against me, or have any premeditated plan, then I'm sorry, you have to die." Today's Li Chen is no longer at the age of being soft-hearted. When Li Chen left, everyone in the room looked ugly. Improving cultivation and raising the upper limit are two completely different concepts. What should we do? We came to him to avoid being swallowed up by the major families in the capital. If our fate is in his hands, what does it have to do with being swallowed up by the major families in the capital? Everyone, please tell us what you think." Zhong Zhengtang did not express his opinion immediately. Everyone should know about Li Chen's affairs. You all have learned how the major families in Zhongcheng were destroyed. If you were Mr. Li and had been betrayed once, would you still be willing to save him? Lin Hongxia said lightly, maybe I am a woman, I must wish you to die. No one owes us. Even if he is a miracle doctor, he does not naturally have to help us and save us. What do you think? Since I, Lin Hongxia, have come here, I have no way out. As long as I have no hostility towards Li Chen, I can live to old age or die in battle. Lin Hongxia's words made many people agree. But more people disagreed. If they did not accept Li Chen's treatment at this time, they could live for a long time. Of course, the premise is that the family and he can survive. If the major families in the capital city take action in advance, it is estimated that it will be in jeopardy. But once it really reaches the Grand Master level, everyone will help each other. Even the capital city cannot produce so many masters. This is inevitable. It depends on whether everyone can be willing to give up and whether they dare to give up. Li Chen did not disturb them or urge them. At this time, there are still many animals outside the Li family. Dong. Li Chen touched the back of his head and saw Sun Wukong lying on Li Biwa's shoulder throwing pine cones to him again. Li Biwa jumped up happily, maybe she didn't expect that the little monkey could bully his father. Li Chen flicked his finger, and the pine cone hit Sun Wukong's forehead with a whoosh. Sun Wukong screamed and fell off Li Biwa's shoulder, covering his forehead and jumping. Big guy, come here. Li Chen waved to the big brown bear who was climbing a tree. In fact, the big brown bear, who was not very old at all, immediately ran over like a ball of meat. The huge body was completely out of proportion to Li Chen. It put its head close to Li Chen and let Li Chen stroke it gently. You also live in the mountains behind, right? The big brown bear tilted his head and thought for a while, finally nodded, and shook his head. Don't you live in the mountains? In the temple, Li Chen looked at the big brown bear in surprise, and the guy nodded. Strange, why didn't I sense the existence of this temple? While touching this big guy, Li Chen asked carefully. There is indeed a temple in the rolling mountains behind. Anyway, they have lived there since they were sensible. It is also the habitat of many animals. Because it is large enough and no one has been there, it is very stable. The reason why they came out this time is that the wild boar king, tiger king, and wolf king who blocked their way out of the mountain have all left. Secondly, they found a familiar breath and chased out. According to the big brown bear, the owner of the temple took in their ancestors and then transformed the entire mountain forest. Later, their ancestors also survived. Familiar smell, Li Chen was puzzled. What did this refer to? Li Chen's eyes fell on Xiao Wu, who was loved by animals. Is it Xiao Wu? Li Chen frowned. This was not a result he was too happy to see. She would rather Xiao Wu was just an ordinary child, nothing special. Even these animals felt the abnormality, so could the masters of the martial arts world not sense it? Li Chen thought to himself that it seemed necessary to go deep into the mountains. Grandpa and others said before that there was terror in the depths of the mountains, and the roots of Ljia village were all related to this place. He had some guesses, maybe after entering, he could help himself solve many mysteries. What surprised Li Chen was that this group of martial arts masters from all over the world did not make him wait too long. In just 2 hours, they had already got the result. Mr. Li, we have all thought it through. Zhong Zhengtang and Xiu Lijian both found Li Chen as representatives at the same time. Oh, Li Chen couldn't help showing surprise. How dangerous was the situation of this group of people? Made a decision so quickly? We have already thought about it. We all need to improve to our highest limit. Zhong Zhengtang said seriously, Mr. Li, when can we start? Are you in such a hurry? Yes, the two nodded frankly. Li Chen smiled and shook his head and said, you have hidden diseases and are seriously injured. Even if you want to start, you have to adjust first. Otherwise the effect will be greatly reduced. This is of course not a lie to them. This group of people have different levels of cultivation. There are only 15 masters, and the remaining 23 are not masters. You can imagine how difficult it is to improve. If they don't adjust their bodies, they are afraid that they can't hold on. Then please Mr. Li start adjusting for us now. Li Chen didn't say anything more. This group of people was very anxious. I don't know if the people in the capital are really crazy. Is it really okay to force this group of people like this? However, he doesn't mind. By the way, let's see if the people in the capital can still be so unscrupulous after creating a large number of masters. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 715. When Li Chen followed the two to the second floor, Li Chen said, "There are too many people here, it's not safe, let's go to the basement." The basement of the Li family is usually used to store sundries. Moreover, the basement is quite spacious and made of special materials. With Li Chen in charge, it will not affect the outside. With a light wave of his arm, all the dust disappeared. Li Chen began to diagnose the bodies of everyone. Everyone's body is different, and the degree of injury is also different, so the treatment plan is naturally different. It took Li Chen 3 hours to diagnose. Among them, those below the Grand Master generally did not have any major problems, but the 15 above the Grand Master had 2 serious problems. "Sit down first, I'll boil medicine for you." Li Chen stood up, and Li Zifeng walked down. His little Grand Master. This. When the group of people saw Li Zifeng, their eyes were red. Isn't this right? Am I seeing it right? Such a young Grand Master? More than 30 people were stunned and jealous. Comparing people is really annoying. Look at the daughter of Li Zianqi. She is only a few years old, but she is already a master. Isn't her future bright and open? Li Zifeng grinned at everyone and said, "Uncles and uncles, come and get the herbs for treatment. You need to absorb them in another area. According to my father, you can be fully recovered in 2 days at most." Seeing that Li Zifeng was beautiful and cute, and polite, the key is that they all like such a talented younger generation, so they also flattered Li Zifeng. "I heard your name is Li Zifeng? Although I haven't become a Grand Master, my cultivation method is quite good. I will give it to you today." "Bah, you shameless guy, Xiao Feng, come here, I am a Grand Master. Although I can't compare with your father, I am definitely better than them. My skills are a little more powerful, and you can gather the strengths of hundreds of schools. Get lost, I will give it to you first if you want." Zhong Zhentang and Qiu Lijian were speechless. They knew very well what these old people were thinking. Who wouldn't want to pity a genius? It's a pity that everyone is a smart person. The daughter of Li Zianqi, it's their turn to pity? Others don't have good things. Even if many people present are only half-step grandmasters, it doesn't mean that their skills are really bad. Giving Li Zifeng the skills they practiced without hesitation is also a gesture of goodwill and a gift. If Li Zifeng is interested, she will definitely practice. Once she succeeds in practicing, then as long as Li Zifeng uses it in the future, it means that there is a new person in their faction. More importantly, they knew that if this technique was placed on Li Zifeng, it might be able to shine in the future. If nothing unexpected happened, people like Li Zifeng would definitely be able to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. This was something they could never hope for in their lifetime. But if they saw their juniors achieve it, they would also be proud of it. Moreover, Li Chen did not trust them, but if Li Zifeng really accepted them, then even if Li Chen did not admit it, it would not matter, they would be considered half of Li Zifeng's master. If they and others really had an accident, or died, at least Li Chen would help their family once for this favor. This was their little calculation. Li Zifeng was a little amused and helpless. This group of people were too enthusiastic, and they had to force the competition even if they didn't want it. Shameless. Bah! You are shameless. Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lichhan blushed. There was no way, they also joined this group. Finally, after Li Zifeng went out, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Next, they could accept treatment and improvement openly. From now on, everyone will face the world again with a new identity. Dad. Li Zifeng looked at his arms full of secret manuals and many unheard of treasures. Li Chen didn't know what to say for a moment. Are these people opportunistic? Yes. Are they annoying? Not really. In that case, then keep it. Li Chen smiled and rubbed Li Zifeng's head. In the future, your eldest brother will take over my business empire, and you will take over my martial arts, and your younger brother will take over your mother's career. As for Xiao Wu, Li Zifeng widened his eyes and couldn't wait to say, what will Xiao Wu take over? Take over the foodie attributes of your mother and me, so let her be a foodie. Li Zifeng's face suddenly fell, and he stomped his feet angrily. I don't like you anymore. Ha ha. Li Chen laughed, watching his eldest daughter leave angrily, and his smile slowly withdrew. Xiao Wu, whether she can live safely is unknown. Li Chen didn't plan to talk about these things. He had already prepared himself mentally by accepting this group of people. He didn't plan to let those villains who were plotting and calculating behind his back do whatever they wanted this time. Whoever has the strongest fist has the right to speak. He believed that his fist was strong enough. As for those messy calculations, he didn't believe that he could calculate everything. After solving all the troubles, he planned to get married and take Murong Shui on a honeymoon around the world. As for the children, they were very annoying, so it was better to leave them at home. Among the children, Xiao Wu is the one who clings to him the most. When the time comes, he will arrange more homework and tutoring for Xiao Wu. This is the kind care of his father to his daughter. He believes that Xiao Wu will be grateful to him in the future. Basement. The rich smell of medicine fills every corner, and the treatment plans of the 38 people are different. In addition to drinking the medicine, they also have to receive acupuncture treatment from Li Chen. This process lasts from 2 to 3 days. Some people will feel comfortable and want to scream during the treatment, but some people are in agony. No two people have the same trajectory because the cultivation methods are different. Only by thoroughly curing the hidden diseases of the body can their upper limit be raised as much as possible. Not only that, Li Chen also spent a lot of effort to make all of them below the Grandmaster level rush to the late Grandmaster realm. First of all, Li Chen now waters the treasures in the medicine garden 6 times a day, and each time he waters them with pure Yuankai water, not diluted. Under the transformation of a large amount of Yuankai water, these treasures can be said to change every hour until the upper limit can no longer be raised. Li Chen's Yuankai water has consumed tens of thousands of drops in just 2 or 3 days, which was impossible before. Of course, the soup medicine they drink now is also made with Yuankai water. If you really count the cost of saving them this time, it is billions. 23 half-step grandmasters began to swallow the elixir given by Li Chen. At this time, some people began to be unable to bear it. Li Chen looked around and said, "Hold on, you are all grandmasters, and your real combat power is not worse than their own cultivation. If you can't hold on, then you may be a grandmaster in the early and middle stages. Measure it yourself." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 716. The screams were extremely miserable. Especially this group of half-step grandmasters, they have already stepped halfway into the grandmaster threshold. But as long as they don't really step into it, they will never be. Although they have been treated by Li Chen for the past 2 days, they have not completely recovered. There are still some hidden dangers, which can only be said to be harmless. It is precisely because of this that when they are striving for the Grand Master realm, even extremely minor injuries will gradually expand. It hurts. The faces of this group of people have begun to twist. Until this moment, they clearly realized that it is not so easy to strive for the Grand Master realm. Buzz. However, those who can reach this step are also people with great perseverance. Enduring what ordinary people cannot endure, they can quickly make a breakthrough. A vast Grand Master's aura burst out, and Li Chen stood aside and recorded. This group of people is now squeezing their own limits and future, which is completely different from the last time they promoted Nangong Hongchuo and others. Nangong Hongchuo and others have room for improvement, and there is no potential for future exploitation. But if Li Chen hadn't helped this group of people now, they would have been like this until they died. After forced promotion, there are also sequelae. But for the sake of survival, they naturally don't care about sequelae. People need motivation. When someone breaks through, someone will immediately break through. And this kind of healthy competition is actually the best for them now. Buzz. Zhong Zhengtang, Qiu Lijhan, and others looked at them enviously. They were all in another area. The masters now seemed to see themselves in the past. When they were impacting the master realm, they were also so painful. But now this group of people are far less painful than they were at that time, because they still have hidden injuries. I don't know if Lu Hong can persist. It must be possible. If you can't break through under such perfect conditions, then this life will be like this. The 15 masters are still adjusting their bodies. Perhaps because they felt that this group of people were starting to sprint towards a higher level of Grand Master, this group of Grand Masters also began to concentrate on healing their wounds and preparing to overtake. One after another, the masters of the half-step Grand Master realm began to rush to the Grand Master level. A total of 23 people, half of them achieved amazing breakthroughs at once. The amount of medicine given by Li Chen was completely sufficient. As long as this group of people did not give up, they could basically become Grand Masters. If the motivation was completely sufficient, the late Grand Master stage was not a problem, and the next step was the middle Grand Master stage. Of course, if it was too bad, it was the early Grand Master stage, but such an improvement was actually a waste of resources. Li Chen gave so many spiritual medicines and put in so much effort, but he didn't want a few masters of the early Grand Master stage in the end. It would be better not to have it. As time went on, more and more people successfully entered the early Grand Master stage. At this time, it can be clearly felt that even among the poor students, there are excellent students. Li Chen's eyes fell on the few people who had not yet broken through, and he said coldly, "The things I provide you are all treasures of the world without exception. If you can't even reach the mid-stage of the Grand Master, you might as well give up as soon as possible, so as not to waste resources. I can give your resources to people who can enter a higher level." The remaining few half-step Grand Masters trembled violently. They felt a strong sense of humiliation. When I saved you, I said it very clearly. If I saved you, then everyone will be a whole. I don't want to bring a group of pig teammates, garbage teammates, which is not good for me at all. Li Chen snorted coldly. If you feel that you can only reach the early stage of the Grand Master, now I advise you to give up. Maybe you can't enter the Grand Master, but your friends can go further. Li Chen's words were like sharp thorns, piercing their hearts fiercely. When they came again, they were already determined to fight to the death. However, with Li Chen's treatment, their determination was shaken a little. Li Chen can even treat martial arts injuries, so can everyone easily enter the late stage of the Grand Master? Until this moment, they were wrong. Entering the Grand Master realm depends on oneself, not others. Buzz. Just as Li Chen finished speaking, the remaining half-step Grand Masters entered almost at the same time. The entire basement was very volatile. Entering the Grand Master realm means that they have entered the ranks of top masters. At least, masters of this level have a say anywhere. But Li Chen knew even more clearly that the group of people in the capital and the group of people in the Red Skull were definitely not simple. If a master of the early stage of the Grand Master enters, it is really a delivery. At least it must be a mid-stage Grand Master. Several mid-stage Grand Masters can join forces to defeat the late Grand Master. And the more masters in the late stage of the Grand Master, the greater the chance of winning. Ah, someone roared, making an unwilling sound. Buzz buzz buzz. Perhaps Li Chen provoked them, or perhaps they were unwilling to accept it. Or perhaps, they were also afraid of death. Relying on others is the worst choice. It is not okay to leave the fate of oneself and the family to an outsider, even if everyone has a very good relationship on weekdays. Some people have started to attack the middle stage of the Grand Master. Li Chen smiled and waved his arm. A dozen rare spiritual medicines appeared in the storage space. He waved his hands and shook them, and the spiritual medicines turned into abundant medicinal power and spread within this defense. The spiritual power that was originally a little weak rushed into the bodies of this group of people in an instant. Breakthroughs one after another. Everyone felt the surge of spiritual energy, which greatly increased their confidence. They didn't know how much money Li Chen spent. They only knew that it would be embarrassing if they entered the middle stage of the Grand Master. Buzz. There are often many latecomers who surpass the early masters. At this moment, all the half-step Grand Masters successfully became early-stage Grand Masters, and some early-stage Grand Masters have become middle stage. Li Chen can give medicine generously, but the premise is that this group of people can do their best. The number of middle-stage Grand Masters is still increasing rapidly, and more than half of them have entered the middle stage of the Grand Master. The people behind him were anxious. They couldn't really stay in the early stage of the Grand Master. This would be despised by everyone. Isn't this too fierce? The original batch of 15 Grand Masters were stunned. They had never thought that after reaching the Grand Master realm, they could still charge so fiercely. Can we charge into the Heavenly Man realm? Qiu Lijian couldn't help asking. Once you enter the Heavenly Man realm, it will really be a step to heaven. Although they knew that the combat effectiveness of those who entered the Heavenly Man realm with drugs must be not as strong as those who relied on themselves. But no matter how weak the Heavenly Man realm is, it is still a Heavenly Man realm powerhouse. Thinking of the Heavenly Man realm, Qiu Lijian and the other 15 Grand Masters had fiery eyes. Buzz buzz buzz. Collectively erupting, the original 23 half-step Grand Masters seemed to be injected with chicken blood at this moment. 20 have already entered the middle stage of the Grand Master, and only 3 have not entered. And 8 of these 20 have already entered the late stage of the Grand Master. Li Chen's arm shook again, and the violent drug power hit their bodies, providing energy crazily. Buzz buzz buzz. The last 3 early stage Grand Masters all entered the middle stage Grand Masters. In Li Chen's opinion, even if they were only in the middle stage Grand Masters, they would have the strength to fight next. He didn't know that this group of people had been aroused. The proportion of masters in the late stage Grand Masters was gradually increasing. 12, 15, 18. 18 of the 23 half-step Grand Masters successfully entered the late-stage Grand Masters. Only 5 were still hovering in the middle stage Grand Masters. These 5 were immediately under great pressure. No, I must rush forward. Even though they knew that this would damage their future, as long as their cultivation reached the late-stage Grand Masters, it would be another chance to change their fate. 19, 20. The longer the time, the more difficult it was for these people to enter, and Li Chen couldn't help but sweat. Finally, a batch of spiritual medicines were shattered again. If they couldn't do it this time, there would be nothing they could do. After 5 hours, these 3 finally entered the late-stage Grand Masters with a bang. At this point, the 23 half-step Grand Masters have completely become the world's top late-stage Grand Masters. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 717. I succeeded. I actually succeeded. I am the Grand Master, I am the Grand Master. A group of people who were over 1,000 years old actually hugged each other and howled. You must know that without Li Chen's help, they would have no hope of reaching the Grand Master realm in this life. However, with the help of Li Chen's treatment, they all successfully broke through. Everyone fell silent, looking at the young figure in front of them, feeling awe in their hearts. 23 people clasped their fists together and said, "Thank you so much, Master Li." I said, "We will be one from now on," Li Chen said with a smile. "Everyone, please stabilize your realm." The 23 great masters nodded excitedly. At this moment, they had a little more confidence in the future. Zhong Zhengtang, Qiu Lijhan, and the other 15 original masters looked over with great envy. "Everyone, your injuries have basically healed. Now, it's your turn." The 15 people in Zhongzhengtang took a deep breath and said, "Let's begin." These 15 people are 2 masters in the late stage, 5 masters in the middle stage, and 8 masters in the early stage. It stands to reason that even the lowest level would be Grand Master. However, after being stimulated by 23 half-step masters, they felt that it would be a humiliation for Li Chen if they only reached the late master stage. Even the lowest level is still half a step to the realm of heaven and human beings. As Li Chen presented the elixir, the 15 powerful masters entered the sprint stage. Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan are real late-stage masters, but what makes them inferior to Wu Chujiang is that they are not half-step into the realm of heaven. The gap between the Grand Master and the heavenly realm is still huge, otherwise there wouldn't be so many people stuck. However, both Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan were full of confidence. As long as they entered the realm of heaven and humans, they would have enough power to fight even against the group of people in the capital. Lin Hongxia and other 5 mid-level masters did their part. In the later stage, the Grand Master is just a guarantee. Their goal is to reach the half-step of the heavenly realm, or even strive to enter the heavenly realm. Buzz. The first ones to break through were the group of people in the early stage of Grand Mastership. Their room for improvement was actually greater, and Grand Masters only needed to rely on energy accumulation. When you reach the realm of gods and humans, you need to rely on perception. Buzz. More and more people are starting to break through. Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Li were the slowest to react because they needed to understand. One after another, the strong ones in the early stage of Grand Master entered the middle stage of Grand Master, and those in the middle stage of Grand Master entered the later stage. Everyone in the entire basement looked at it with great eagerness. Why are Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan silent? They have reached their limit. The next step is to realize the wonderful effect of the unity of heaven and man. Once they realize it, they can step forward in an instant. If they cannot realize it, they can only take it slowly. Lin Hongxia has entered the late stage of Grand Master. So fast, they are so fast. Yes, this group of powerful people who were originally masters made rapid progress. In just about 3 hours, there was no one in the middle stage of Grand Master here, and all of them had reached the late stage of Grand Master. Buzz. Half step to the heavenly realm. Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijhan broke through almost at the same time, but everyone who had entered the late stage of Grand Master suddenly stopped moving. They were anxious, but Li Chen was not anxious. It would be best if this group of people could enter the realm of heaven and humans. But if you really don't feel enough, you can only give up. Buzz. Li Chen was shocked. This Lin Hongxia was actually halfway to the heavenly realm. Is she so fast? Buzz. So fast. Wu Ying actually stepped in. The background of this group of people is much deeper than ours. I just don't know how many people will be able to enter the realm of heaven and humans this time. This group of people who had begun to consolidate their cultivation were reluctant to move their eyes. Others' breakthroughs are also a moment of enlightenment and enlightenment. Once you miss it, you may never have such an opportunity again. Li Chen thought for a while, the Taoyuan spread, and his own feelings shook out. Whether they can understand it or not is up to them. But Li Chen still hopes that when they understand their own Tao, they can also understand their own Tao. This is the real saving grace. Boom. The air waves are rolling. Li Chen's footsteps shook slightly, suppressing his violent energy. It was seen that Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijian were the first to enter the early stage of the heavenly realm. I went and really made a breakthrough. What a mysterious Taoyuan. Is this state the unity of heaven and man? Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijian had just stepped in and could not completely restrain themselves, so the Taoyuan at this time was extremely useful for everyone's understanding. If there are more masters who enter the realm of heaven and humans, then the strength of Li Chen's friendly forces will become larger and larger. Buzz. 2 more people entered the half-step heavenly realm. Time passed slowly, and the progress of Zhong Zhengtang and Qiu Lijian slowed down rapidly. It's not that they don't want to make progress, but that their insights are really limited and can't be accumulated. On the contrary, Lin Hongxia and Wu Ying actually came from behind. Boom boom. 2 waves of air burst into the sky, and the 2 people instantly reached the early stage of the heavenly realm. At this moment, everyone became excited. A full 4 of them are in the heavenly realm, which is too scary. Buzz. 5 more people entered the half-step heavenly realm. But as Li Chen continued to release energy, it was useless in the end. The perception of this group of people was not enough. Of the 15 people, 4 entered the heavenly realm, 8 were stuck in the half-step heavenly realm, and 3 were stuck at the peak level of the late Grand Master stage. This level was far beyond Li Chen's expectations. When Zhong Zhengtang and the others opened their eyes, they could not hide their joy. Thank you, Master Li. Everyone roared excitedly. They succeeded, and at this moment, they felt extremely powerful. Li Chen smiled and waved his hand and said, "The realm is unstable, you should stabilize it first." Yes, everyone couldn't help laughing. 38 people who had no way forward, at this moment, were actually at least in the late Grand Master stage. Who would believe it if it was spread out? They didn't dare to show off, and they were a little unbelievable while excited at this moment. When Li Chen walked out of the basement, a little girl bumped into his arms. However, she dodged the next second. "Hey, Daddy stinks." Li Biwu waved his hands in disdain and wrinkled his cute little nose. Li Chen sniffed his body. Before he knew it, he had been in the basement for 3 days. No wonder Xiao Wu was disgusted. He pulled the little girl into his arms, causing her to struggle. "Stinky, stinky. No, no, no. Ah, mommy, save me." Li Biwu struggled and kept making trouble with Li Chen. Finally, Li Chen went to take a shower, and Li Biwu was willing to come over and stick to him. Murong Shui wore a pink v-neck dress today, showing her exquisite and slender waist perfectly. She came behind Li Chen with a faint fragrance, gently pinched his brow and said, "You must be tired, why don't you take a rest?" "It's okay," Li Chen shook his head and said, "the people in the basement may have to stay for 2 or 3 days to consolidate their cultivation, so don't go down." "Okay," Murong Shui smiled, let Li Chen lean on her soft thighs, and gently massaged him. "Xiao Long." "Hey," Li Donglong sat at the small table, and on his legs were the 2 little tigers Tuan Tuan Yuen Yuen. "Where is the brown bear from before?" "Oh, they went back to the mountains and asked you to find it," Li Donglong reminded. Li Chen nodded, but fell into deep thought. What is in the temple deep in the mountains? How did the people who built the temple know what would happen today many years later? Early morning. Li Chen was tossed out by Li Biwu and got up early. He insisted on taking her for a walk in the village, so Li Chen could only agree. However, Li Chen finally had time to take a good look at the progress of the village. Now Li Chen just didn't want to delay the construction period, which would affect his subsequent arrangements. Li Donglong, Li Zifeng, and Li Nanfei also got up very early. The three siblings quietly got together to plan what kind of wedding to hold for their parents. Of course, this was all to avoid Murong Shui. Just as Li Chen thought, they also wanted to keep their mother in the dark and give her a big surprise. Xiao Wu, many villagers in the village would greet Li Biwu with a smile when they saw her. The little girl also accepted everyone who came, and called everyone uncle, and that was not ambiguous at all. She was so sweet and lovable. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 718. The construction of the underground infrastructure of the entire village was very fast. Because during this period, Li Chen also invited some martial arts masters to help, and they helped to compact and mine, and the speed was extremely fast. The time was greatly shortened, and now the entire ground infrastructure facilities have been almost completed. After completion, the facilities on the ground have also begun to start one after another. The dense forest, the sea of flowers, the pond, and the farmhouses have now shown a large enough scale. The trees on both sides are now slowly growing taller and bigger with the passage of time. Everything in the village is beginning to develop in the best direction. The school has been completely disinfected and completed. Just waiting for Li Chen to start recruiting teachers. He took the little girl to walk around the village, and introduced what entertainment toys and facilities are here. The little girl would show a look of longing, which made Li Chen want to see the finished product. After taking the little girl home, Li Chen found that there were several text messages coming from his mobile phone. Ding dong. Ding dong. Li Chen picked up the phone. It turned out to be a consumption rebate. Ding, detecting the host's consumption, 100 times rebate has been triggered, 3 trillion has been credited. A total of 3 trillion has been credited. Li Chen clicked on the system, and the original rebate points were only more than 8 million, but now it has increased suddenly. It seems that the money he transferred out has been used by people one after another. This is a good phenomenon. With 3 trillion credited, Li Chen's wealth value has increased again. Host, Li Chen. Wealth, 4,997,112,648,186. Skills, Unity of Heaven and Earth. Medical skills, Immortal level. Beast taming, Immortal level. Poison skills, Immortal level. Rebate points, 3,08,731,347. Rebate level, 100 times. Currency exchange, 1:20000. At this moment, Li Chen laughed in surprise. This should be the most return points he has ever received. Li Chen. A voice came from outside. It was Li Kongfeng. Brother Feng, why are you here? Li Chen hurried out to greet Li Kongfeng. Li Kongfeng took off his straw hat and fanned himself while saying, the school has already sent people to clean up. Now the recruitment information has been sent out. You see. Just take responsibility. Li Chen smiled. No. Li Kongfeng said embarrassedly, I haven't read much. I really can't handle this recruitment interview. Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Thinking that in order to arrange the 4 little guys at home smoothly in the future, Li Chen decided to sacrifice himself. When is the interview? In the afternoon, Li Kongfeng said. Okay, then I'll go down, Li Chen nodded. Getting Li Chen's answer, Li Kongfeng left with satisfaction. Xiaolong, Li Chen shouted. Li Donglong stuck his head out, and he found that his father had been calling him whenever he had something to do. Are you going to the school for an interview this afternoon? No, Li Donglong shook his head firmly. I'm not the principal, why should I go for an interview? Xiao Wu and the others will study here in the future, you really don't want to interview them? Hearing this, Li Donglong's eyes lit up instantly. Studying is good, I, as the eldest brother, must support this kind of thing. Thinking that my younger brothers and sisters are playing happily, only I, as the eldest brother, have to do the hard work, it's not justified. Studying is good, then I, as the eldest brother, will use 3 years to simulate the 5-year college entrance examination. Forget it, they are still young, just love them with homework and cram schools. So, the father and son agreed happily. Onel Town. Many people came to Onel Town, there were 5 or 6 buses alone, and there were even more people who drove over. Hey, where are you all going? Ljia Village, Onel Town. I'll go, are you going to Ljia Village too? Of course. I heard that they are recruiting teachers here, and the salary is very high. We want to go and take a look. The people around looked at each other, and they felt great pressure in their hearts. Are you all graduated from 211? I'm studying for a bachelor's and a master's degree. I just came back from abroad and studied in Oxford. I'm back from Harvard. Xiao Yajing in the crowd lowered her head silently. The voices of this group of people were not loud, but not small. At a glance, she might be the worst. She is just an ordinary teacher, without a high-quality academic qualification or a rich resume. Yajing, this is over, I thought no one came to apply, how could I know that so many people would come to a broken village? Yes. This is a big trouble, they are all so awesome, what should we do? The few girls who followed them felt that the sky had fallen. There were too many shining and dazzling people in the crowd, so many that they could not compare at all. Xiao Yajing took a deep breath and said, education is important, but teaching and educating people requires more than just education. Tisk. Xiao Yajing's voice was not loud, just to comfort them. But as she spoke, the people around her made contemptuous sounds. Some looked at Xiao Yajing and the others and smiled slightly. Now, even if it is just a small position, there are so many competitors. What's more, this is a school that has 1,000 connections with the Li Group. Without a resume and a little capital, how can you compete? What's more, the area where the school is located is said to be about to change. If you can't seize this opportunity, then when will you wait? This place feels so poor. That's right, I'm starting to worry about the environment here. Isn't it the kind of place at the foot of the mountain? Many people come here for the Li Group and high salaries. However, as they go deeper, they find that this place seems very remote. Not only that, this place doesn't seem to be very developed. With a high salary, they have to stay in this not very prosperous area, and many of them want to retreat. What if they go out to meet friends in the future, and others can talk about where they are doing well, but what about themselves? Is it to be in an unknown mountain village? Many excited young men and women, as they go deeper and deeper into the countryside, their resistance is also growing. Huang Linlin and Wu Yifan, who drove their Mercedes-Benz cars, were a little unhappy. This is too bad, and they are still social workers. How can they teach and educate people in this environment? The roads are dirty, the environment is not good, and it seems that these projects are only halfway built. Huang Linlin frowned slightly. This is far from the beautiful scenery, birds singing and flowers blooming, and the paradise on earth he imagined. The mighty convoy entered Ljia village. Is this where we are going to work next? This is too rubbish, right? I hate this kind of place full of yellow sand. Sorry, I want to back out. It's not that I can't endure hardship, but this place is really too bad. There are constructions everywhere. What's going on? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gwa. Chapter 719. School. The surrounding area is blocked, and the construction still has a certain impact. Li Kongfeng didn't have time to change clothes. Now he has many things to be responsible for and is very busy. When he arrived at the school, he had already seen cars parked in the parking spaces. The school is big and very new. But the smell of formaldehyde has long since disappeared. Li Chen has already arranged for someone to handle it. Huang Linlin, Wu Yifan, and others got out of the car one after another. Although this was a new school, even they had to admit that the environment of this school was very good. What's even more strange is that when you are outside the school, you can still clearly hear the sound of construction outside, but after entering the school, the sound of construction disappears. Looking around, although the trees have not all grown up, they are green and lush. According to the internet, every tree in this school is worth more than 1 million once it grows. The school's teaching buildings are all top-notch, as can be seen from the materials used. Although the environment of this school is okay, it is too remote and there are no supporting facilities nearby. That's right, it's too far from the city. It's in the wilderness. If we are really in danger, it's useless to call. Hundreds of people were chirping. Are you here for an interview? Li Kongfeng held a straw hat and said to everyone with a smile. Who are you? Wu Yifan frowned slightly and pulled away, dissatisfied with Li Kongfeng's approach. Oh, hello, I'm. Looking at it like this, he probably works on a construction site, someone laughed out loud. It is true that Li Kongfeng's outfit is a bit ugly, and there is dust on his body. Li Kongfeng stretched out his hand slightly and took it back in embarrassment. We came all the way here, why don't we have to wait here? Where are the interviewers? Wu Yifan asked with a frown. He's on his way here and will arrive soon, Li Kongfeng said with a smile. Most of the people who came for the interview were unwilling to talk to Li Kongfeng because they felt it was an insult to their status. Li Chen took Li Donglong, and the two father and son walked over leisurely with ice cream. Teachers do not require well-rounded skills, but their character must be good, Li Chen said, so, for the next interview, you can consider this aspect. Even if your professional skills are not up to standard, as long as your character is good, guaranteed, this can be accepted. What about the treatment after admission? Li Donglong nodded. If the person who educates people is not up to par in terms of character, how can he still talk about teaching? How about the salary? Li Chen took out his mobile phone and looked at it and said, the salary of teachers here is quite low, only 3,000 to 4,000, the salary released before was 10,000, so add a little more, 2,000, 10,000. Li Donglong took a big bite of the ice cream and said, it's not bad, what next? If you stay here for half a year, you will be rewarded with 100,000 yuan. If you stay here for more than a year, you will be rewarded with a BMW or Mercedes-Benz. Such a rubbish car, Li Donglong was disgusted. Son, we don't drive this thing, but many people recognize this. They think this is a luxury car and this is a symbol of rich people, Li Chen educated. Li Donglong's eyes widened, real or false? If you don't believe me, drive a low-key luxury car, and then let someone drive a Mercedes-Benz and BMW to see which car the villagers think is more expensive. Li Donglong understood immediately, okay. Is there anything else? Those who have been there for more than 3 years will be rewarded with a house in our town. If it's more than 5 years, then we'll just reward you with 5 million. Li Donglong carefully noted down that these were all used for rewards. Although, it is indeed a bit worse here now. But he knew very well that as his father's plan gradually unfolded, every inch of land here would be at a premium. Moreover, he also heard from his uncles who stayed at home that they would come over to invest after they officially leave the country. Li Chen and Li Donglong walked slowly to the school. The reason why the school was so quiet was because he used some small tricks. These small measures can keep the entire school from being disturbed. Construction in the village is construction, but it will never affect the school. Li Donglong pursed his lips to Li Chen and said, "These people seem to be a little impatient with waiting." Li Chen smiled and said, "This is so normal. Let's go and meet these teachers." The appearance of father and son Li Chen and Li Donglong made the originally noisy environment much quieter. Xiao Yajing and the other girls, who were asking Li Kongfeng serious questions, immediately noticed Li Chen and his son. Li Kongfeng then said, "The person really responsible is here." Many people's eyes fell on Li Chen. The first time everyone looked at Li Chen, they felt it was unreal. Whether it was a man or a woman, everyone had the same idea that this person should not be alive. Handsome is not enough to describe him, his aura is very warm, but it makes people dare not be presumptuous. 360 degrees with no blind spots, a slight smile makes people feel as if they are sinking. Not to mention him, even the sun next to him made many girls' hearts flutter. But everyone knows that this young CEO named Li Donglong is actually only 10 years old. Just sitting here, the two father and son are so eye-catching. Li Chen smiled and said, "Please sit down." Both boys and girls sat down obediently at this moment. After Li Chen sat down, he pointed to Li Donglong beside him and said, "This is my son, and he is also the one who is mainly responsible for interviewing you today." Li Donglong stood up and bowed slightly to everyone, which made many girls happy. Arljia village invested in building this school, and there is a very large vacancy in the field of teachers. Li Donglong said slowly, "Next, I will issue a task. If it is completed within a limited time, then even if you pass the first round, the second round will be a simple interview. After passing both rounds, you can officially join the job." The crowd was in turmoil. They didn't expect that the selection of teachers here would be so eclectic. Please find a child in the village within an hour, and let this child help you complete a task. This task is to understand the basic growth laws of some crops in the village. Wow! Such a weird topic appeared, and everyone immediately showed dissatisfaction. There was only 1 hour, and there were construction sites everywhere. It was difficult to find the children when they were unfamiliar with the place. Moreover, even if they found the children, they would not know the growth rules of crops, which was another big problem. In other words, it was not enough to find the children. They had to establish a communication relationship with the children's parents and learn and record all the growth processes of their crops with an open mind. Why is the teacher qualification interview like this? I was speechless. Is this the style of the rich in the countryside? Friends, I seriously doubt whether I came to the wrong place. Many people were not in a good mood. They found that their preparations were completely useless. So, many people started to complain by posting on social media and blogs. Li Donglong looked at the crowd and looked at the time, but did not remind them. Finally, someone in the crowd moved. Xiao Yajing took a few of her friends and left the campus, but more people were watching the show. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 720. Xiao Yajing is not interested in what others think. Since she came here with her friends, she will not return empty-handed. Moreover, she just asked the big brother and learned some basic information about the place. Teaching in such a remote town, a salary of 10,000 yuan alone is something that many places cannot achieve. As we all know, teachers' salaries have always been very low, and even if there are some benefits, they are actually at a medium level. The dream of Xiao Yajing and her friends is to have some time to rest after teaching and educating people, and then save a little money, and if they are lucky enough, buy a cheaper house. With a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan and a year-end bonus, if you save money here, there is still a high probability that you can make up the down payment. You know, although the world is full of people claiming that they earn tens of thousands of yuan a month and hundreds of thousands of yuan a year. But the real situation is that many people are actually in debt, ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. In this case, there are really few people who can be debt-free. As for saving money, it is simply a luxury, and many people are living paycheck to paycheck. She is very content. In the crowd, someone finally moved. Although they look glamorous in front of outsiders and always say that they are not short of money on the internet, they all know that they are short of money. When others move, the rest of them also move. In the end, we still have to bow to reality. Huang Linlin and Wu Yifan looked at each other. To be honest, a salary of 10,000 is indeed good, but it is not enough to make them excited. At present, seeing so many people go out to prepare for the interview, they still haven't moved. There are many people who haven't moved. At least half of the 300 or 400 people who came here for the interview have not moved. Li Donglong took out his mobile phone, and I don't know what he is looking at. Li Chen began to close his eyes and rest, and an hour would pass quickly. We really don't want to give it a try. What are you trying for? How can there be such an interview? Besides, 10,000 yuan, it's not worth it. But there are no such high salaries outside, and this place is under construction. When it's built, it may be different. With the support of the Li Group, it won't be that bad, right? You go if you want to go, I'm too lazy to go. If you don't go, I'll go. Many people began to disagree. Some thought the interviewer was outrageous, some simply disliked the poor environment here, and some thought 10,000 yuan was too low. Li Donglong seemed to be playing with his mobile phone, but he saw every move of this group of people. What no one expected was that Li Donglong had already started to score. Li Chen glanced and silently opened his system. When the more than 30 masters have all stabilized their realm, they can be used. More than 30 masters are invested in infrastructure, even if it only takes 1 or 2 days, the progress can be improved by 10 days and half a month. This is the horror of martial arts masters. When the habitats of the flower sea and the zoo are laid out, Li Chen will use the vitality water to make an indiscriminate and all-round rainfall. The entire Jia village will usher in a different look. However, looking at his many return points, Li Chen couldn't help but fall into deep thought. He never denied the wonderful use of vitality water. But where does this vitality water come from? Is this vitality water inexhaustible? Also, the system returns so much money, so where does this money come from? Li Chen couldn't help but get curious. The system can't come for no reason, right? Is it really just because of his good luck? He doesn't think so. Soon, only more than 100 people were left in the field, and Huang Linlin and Wu Yifan finally chose not to move, because after careful consideration, they still felt that this place might not be suitable for them, and the investment and the return were not proportional. Although the salary outside is low, whether it is the environment or the rest, it is better than here. Instead of wasting time here, it is better to give up now. An hour passed in the blink of an eye, and the people who left returned here one after another. Li Donglong looked at the crowd and smiled. Congratulations, you have successfully passed the first round of tests. What? But we haven't found it yet. This. Everyone was stunned. Li Donglong smiled and said, I will decide what to test. My father hired you here. He values your skills and high education as part of his job, but more importantly, your ability to act. Do your job well. Even if you are tempted by interests, it is also a kind of motivation. At least you took action, which I think is the most valuable. As for the more than 100 people here who did not take action, I'm sorry, you are eliminated. When Li Donglong announced the elimination, the more than 100 people did not feel too much regret. The remaining more than 200 people showed joy. They didn't expect to pass by accident. By the way, Let me announce our newly adjusted salary system. Li Donglong's words made the more than 100 people who had already stood up and were ready to leave freeze in an instant. After discussing with my father, we decided that Arljia village is remote after all, but we still hope to have the strongest teaching staff, so those who pass the assessment will enjoy a monthly salary of 20,000. Hiss. As soon as these words came out, the whole playground was boiling. Oh my god, 20,000. Ah, I'm going crazy, is this true? I got a monthly salary of 20,000, so I can make 240,000 a year, right? Ahahaha. Woohoo, take off. Even if you are highly educated, it is impossible to have a smooth life, and there is no salary that can make you relaxed and high paid. After all, the boss is not stupid. The effort and income are not proportional. Is the boss a money-spending boy? Huang Linlin and Wu Yifan, who had no trace of nostalgia, suddenly stopped. They looked at Li Donglong, who announced the news, with shock on their faces, and the whole person seemed to be struck by lightning. Of course, 20,000 is just your basic salary. As for which department you are interviewing for and what position you are in, there will be a corresponding increase. Li Donglong's words attracted another wave of screams. The higher the position, the higher the salary and benefits. At this moment, they just thought that the father and son in front of them were really handsome. Everyone, do you want to hear about the next treatment? Li Donglong said with a smile. The scene was boiling. Although they have not officially become a member here, they have at least passed the first round. I want to. More than 200 people responded in unison. And the more than 100 people who were originally preparing to leave had red eyes of jealousy at this moment. Teachers, not everyone can get such a high salary. Li Donglong smiled slightly and said, if you have been employed here for more than half a year, we will reward you 100,000 yuan individually. Pa pa pa. On the playground, figures fell to the ground one after another. Huang Linlin and Wu Yifan were pale without a trace of blood, they looked like their souls had left their bodies. Some people couldn't bear it at all and fell down directly. A reward of 100,000 yuan for persisting for half a year, is this a rich and powerful person who is crazy?